Hello, everyone who has joined, and this is a special session with Captain Vijay. So, I'll be joining him soon. Just give me 5 minutes.
Hi Simran.
Hello,
Hi Simran.
good evening, Captain. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, I'm fine. So, first of all, Captain, thank you very much for taking out your time and talking to us, sharing your experience and giving us your valuable time.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
So, let's directly start shooting questions.
And thank you as well.
And
And
thank you
thank
as
you
well.
at
And thank you
Maritime
at
Universe for
Maritime Universe for
starting this
starting
session's
this
topic.
session's topic. Okay, sir.
And
And
hopefully we can continue this
hopefully we
for
can continue
future
this for future
topics as well.
topics as well. I would love to continue, sir. Love talking to you, and obviously our viewers. So, yes, sir. I'll start with some questions. So, sir, first, as our session is ISPS, so can you please tell us what is ISPS or what is the role of ISPS, or do we really need ISPS?
All right. So it's all started
It's all started
after 9/11.
after 9/11. Yes, sir.
Earlier days, life
Earlier
on
days,
board
life
was
on board
quite easy for the
quite
sailors.
easy for the sailors.
We had used to hear
We
all
had used to hear
sorts
all
of stories from
sorts of
our
stories
seniors.
from our seniors.
But now, unfortunately,
But
all
now,
those things have
unfortunately, all those
stopped.
things have stopped.
So there are negatives
So
as well
there are
as
negatives
positives.
as well as positives.
So the negatives,
So the
including the
negatives,
shore leave
including the shore
restrictions
leave
and
restrictions and
terminal restrictions, you
terminal
must be knowing that
restrictions,
as
you
well.
must be knowing that as well. Yes, sir.
But positive is
But positive is
chances of the
chances of the
security related incidents,
security
accidents
related
happening,
accidents
that
happening.
is under control.
That
It's
is under
because of this
control.
ISPS.
It's because of this ISPS.
So it's a SOLAS requirement.
So it's a SOLAS requirement.
So we
Yes.
have then ISPS
So
code
we
as
have
well,
then ISPS
and
code as well,
we
and
have the assessment, and
we
then we
have
have
the
the ship
assessment,
security
and then
plan
we
and all
have the
that.
ship
That will
security plan and
talk
all
in a
that.
few
That will
further
talk in a few
communication
further communication.
discussion.
Yes, sir. I have a pretty list of questions for you. So my next question for you is, so does all the vessels have to comply with ISPS?
Yes, it's a SOLAS requirement, and since
It's a
we know that the
SOLAS
vessel
requirement,
has
and
to
since we
comply
know
with
that
all
the
the
vessel
SOLAS
has
and
to comply
MARPOL,
with all the SOLAS
and if you're
and
not
MARPOL, and if you're
complying,
not
I mean, see, after this,
complying,
you'll
I mean, see,
be
after
issued
this,
a
you'll
ship
be
security
issued a
certificate.
ship security certificate. So, sir, what about the fishing boats, the small boats? Do they also have to comply with this ISPS?
I'm not that sure.
I'm
Since
not
you are
that
appearing for
sure.
your exams, you will
Since
be
you
in
are
much
appearing
better
for your exams, you will
position.
be in
I
much
don't know
better
about the
position. I
GT
don't know about the
requirements,
GT
but I
requirements,
believe there is a
yeah,
GT
because
requirement for
GT
the.
requirement for the as far as I think, because fishing boat is as it is very small, so I don't think a pirate will go on a shipping fishing boat.
I
So
believe
yeah,
there is
I
a
believe
GT
there is
requirement
a GT requirement
for the ship security
for the ship
certificate. I'm
security
not sure the
certificate. I'm
figure.
not sure the
Normally, it's
figure.
500
Normally, it's 500
gross tonnage. I'm not
gross
sure.
tonnage. I'm not sure. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, I have another question is, so what if a ship is not complying with ISPS? So what are the actions which are taken by port, or like what are the actions?
First of all,
First of
it's
all,
a statutory
it's a
requirement.
statutory requirement.
If you are in a good
If
company
you
and
are in a
standard
good
company,
company and
definitely
standard
you'll be
company,
having
definitely
this
you'll be having
certificate,
this
and you will be
certificate, and
complying.
you will be
If not,
complying.
then the
If
port is
not,
not
then
going to
the port
accept,
is not going to accept,
because
because
as a permit,
as a
and
permit,
of course as a
and
master, you'll
of course
be
as a
sending
master,
the
you'll
pre-arrival
be sending
information
the
to the
pre-arrival
port,
information
to the agents,
to the
port
agents,
papers, and you'll be
port
doing that,
papers,
as
and
a
you will be
permit.
doing that, as a permit.
And they will generally ask you for
And they
this
will generally
ISPS
ask you for this
certificate,
ISPS
ISSC
ISSC
certificate, and what level
Yes.
are you
And
on,
what
what
level
level
are
is
you
the
on, what
port,
level is
and if you
the
are not
port.
complying, then
And
they
if you
are
are
going
not
to
complying, then
strictly
they
tell
are
you,
going to
stay
strictly tell you,
outside, get it
stay
done, and
outside,
then only you will enter
get
the
it
port.
done, and then only you will enter the port. Okay. So since you just mentioned about the levels, so can you please just throw some light on security levels?
Alright, so basically there are three
Right. So
levels.
basically there are three levels.
Okay, the sound is
Okay.
echoing.
The
Lots
sound
of
is
people are,
echoing. Lots of people are,
is there something we can
So
do?
is my voice audible now?
Yeah, your voice is audible, but my voice is echoing.
A bit, sir, but it's okay.
Okay, it's
Do you want me
mine.
to
All right.
restart?
Is it mine? So what I can do is I'll just switch off my Bluetooth. Is it better now, guys?
Yes, sir.
Echo of sir. Okay. If you can understand, I think that should be okay.
Sir, I guess it's better now.
All right.
No echoing now.
So, all right. So we have three levels of security: level one, level two, level three. Level one is the normal security operating level that most of the ships will be doing in all the ports. Level two is little bit higher compared to level one. There are some extra measures and security we have to take. And level three is the final. That's the that time if you are on level three, then there is no power operation. Nobody is allowed on move. That is the extreme level of security requirement. So basically, we whichever they are calling, we find out which security level they are on, and if they are on two, for example, most of the Indian ports, especially after the 2011 attack, they have come down to level two. All right. So, and then you have, and if you're on level one, suppose you're coming to USA, then you need to raise your security level as well to comply with that. You cannot go on a level one and go to a level two port. And if you are on a level two and you're going to a level one, then you need to comply with that level, that port. So for that, I'm sure you have your next question ready.
Yes, sir. So, sir, since we were talking about security levels and all these things, so, sir, do we have some security drills, or when we change the security level, what is the procedure on board, or what are the crew's responsibilities and duties regarding this thing?
Okay. Whenever we are changing the security level, okay, it's going again, unfortunately. Can we start a discussion? Don't mind?
Sir, I'll do one thing. I'll just restart the whole session.
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
I'll wait.
Hello, people. Hello, everyone. Just give us some time. Captain is joining soon, and he'll be answering everything. If you all have some questions, please write your questions down, and he'll surely answer them.
Hello again.
Hello, sir. Welcome back.
All right. So if there's echo, we'll just continue.
So,
Yeah.
shall we start again?
Yeah. We'll start. All right. So I was talking about the declaration of security. Okay. So that is supposed to be signed between the vessel and the terminal every time. So when it is signed, whenever there is a difference in the security levels, the vessel is on level one and the terminal is on level two. That time you need to have this DOS exchange. But practically, we make a DOS for every port. All right.
All right, sir.
And there are company procedures as per the ship security plan. What are the changes and the drills and the paperwork that need to be done whenever we are raising a security level and whenever we are lowering a security level. That we'll talk about it whenever we'll talk about the HRS Himalaya run.
All right, sir. Sorry to say, sir, but again, your voice is a little bit disturbing and echo is coming. So, is there something which can be done?
I don't know. I just did a live, so it was fine. Let me just
Okay,
connect.
sir. Then maybe we can continue like this.
Is it better?
It's okay, sir. Let's continue with this and let's see how it goes. So, sir, since you now mentioned about the declaration of security, so can you just tell us about some documents like this ship's say we have this safety plan and then we have security assessment. So can you just tell us about that? I know that I'm going into some ISM, but it's all connected.
All right, so we'll not be talking much about. Okay, the echo. We'll not be talking much about the paperwork. So you have a ship security plan on board. All right, so that is a confidential document kept in the custody of ship security officer. Now, ship security officer can be anybody, depending on the company's policy.
Yes.
All right. So, chief engineer, master, or chief officer, anybody can be the
Chief
SSO.
officer.
Okay, MERS is chief officer, and most of the companies I've seen is chief officer. All right. So there's one SSP plan. Then there is a security file wherein you have lots of checklists. Some of the paperwork includes the record of drill, and then the maintenance of the equipments, the stowaway search checklist, the last and port of calls, and various other checklists. Basically, you need to maintain the checklist as per the index. Then you need to have a valid ISSP certificate. Um, Maybe I'll just lower down my volume. I don't know. I had other life. Never had this issue.
I don't know, sir. It's my first time I'm having this interaction, but from my side, it's okay now.
Yeah, your side is perfect.
So
Unfortunately, my side there's echoing. I don't know why. I'm using the same phone, same Bluetooth connectivity.
but it's okay, sir. It's audible.
It should be. Sure.
Yeah.
Next.
So, sir, you mentioned about the checklist and the drills. So, what all kind of drills we do on board for like in respect of security?
Security related drills. Basically, it's with what happens, if you find a stowaway on board. Some examples. Then you have what happens if you have a bomb. So you will be doing your bomb search drills. Stowaway search, you do it every departure port. Okay, I've been on containers. I've been on tankers. The containers are the most difficult ones for a stowaway search.
For a stowaway search, yes, because we
And
have
it's
to
quite
go
scary.
and check all the lashing bridges in the cargo holes in all places. So yeah,
And the base between the containers
yes,
under
yes.
deck. Oh, it's very scary.
It's too like you have to climb down so much, then go up so much. So it's like tiring, and the whole crew has to work for that.
Basically, I think on the containers it's very easy to hide because of the lots of spaces available. On tankers, it's more or less flat. So the chances, basically, for them to hide is the rudder and rudder stop, and for them to survive there is quite difficult.
So, but for
But
containers, it's like not only stowaway, but sometimes, especially when you go to Brazilian ports, Santos and all, inside the container only they keep drugs and all. So it's like you cannot search that.
yeah, those containers come sealed, and that comes under the responsibility of the terminal and the container inspection authorities. And at the end, the if at all they are found on in the containers, then that time I don't know why the master or the company is penalized.
Yes, like I remember, Captain, there was an incident where they found drugs on board, and so all the deck crew, including the cadet, they were sent to jail, and for no reason because they were not at fault. And then later, third mate, second mate, and cadets they were released, but still the captain and chief officer they were under custody for long. So, yeah.
See, that's beauty of merchant navy. We are the easiest scapegoats. All right, so okay, another small incident not related to security. The bunkers, now they have to be compliant with that new sulfur requirement.
Yes, sir.
So, and that is given by the sulfur, the bunker supplying companies. In Europe, they penalize the master. First of all, why master? It should be chief engineer.
Chief engineer.
So they penalize the master because they came on board and tested the sulfur content of the present sample on the bunkers on board, and it was more than that requirement.
0. Okay.
All right, so I don't know. Again, you should catch the bunker supplier, you should catch chief engineer, but why master?
But then it's like always captain says no, he is the overall in charge. So he should be taken, but along with chief engineer.
All right. So coming back to security, DOS we
So we were
covered.
on drills. We were on the drills. So bomb
Okay,
search and stowaways.
and
For
what
sure,
are
a
the drills?
piracy.
And sometimes if in case there is a security or piracy threat, if you receive a threat from somebody by email or by phone that there is a bomb, on board the ship or there is drugs on board the ship. So that time, there are checklists and we have to follow all the checklist and everything properly.
Checklists. So, sir, Captain, my next question will be related to this piracy. So, whenever we are transiting this HRA, so what all precautions do we take on board? And the drill before HRA, we have to do a drill 24 hours before. So, what all things we do, we discuss,
All right.
and what's the emergency
Okay.
plan?
Okay. Yeah. You've transited HRA? I believe
Yes,
your
yes,
Suez
sir.
transited, yeah.
Many
So,
times.
many times. Seen any boat approaching?
Not as such.
All right. So basically, you are coming to mostly see when we are we pick up armed guards basically from Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that time your VRA starts. Okay. Okay. So from there you start your MSc HOA reporting, your UKMTO initial reporting, daily reporting and final reporting. Then the armed guards will be on board the ship and they will exchange information with the master. But they won't be keeping the piracy watches. Then whenever like you are just one day before the HRA, then we will have the actual realistic drill of the imminent threat. A boat is just approaching. It is not sure if it is a pirate boat, but it may be a pirate boat. So that's
It
an
may be a
imminent
pirate
threat. So that time you will muster in a dedicated location as per the ship security plan and agreed plan. And then, in case future you come to know that that's a real pirate boat, and you start firing and everything. That time, all the other guys except the bridge team will proceed to the citadel. And finally, at the end, if the armed guards and master decide that this is done, I mean, there's no more bullets left, or so they'll stop the ship, press the SSAS button, the VHF Mayday, and then everybody will proceed to citadel and lock themselves inside. Basically, give them a dead ship. So, and we do not try to be heroes, just like Captain Felix.
Yes. So,
So
Captain,
basically, what
sorry to disturb you, Captain, but as we were talking about this piracy and all, so what is the criteria of bringing this armed guards on board? Because I remember when I was transiting HRA, we were going to Salala. So there is some area when you go to Salala, there is some HRA area. So we never had armed boats on board, or we like armed guards on board. And so, like, when do we call them? Is it like when we already know there is an imminent danger, then we call them, or whenever we transit HRA,
so
we have to call them?
the HRA has boundaries, and the companies normally, practically commercially, what they do is they try to keep the cost to the minimum. So basically, the armed guards are for you to safely transit the Gulf of Eden.
Okay.
And what happens is some of the countries they do not want the armed guards on board as supernumerary, or they don't want the guns on board as well. So it becomes quite difficult commercial wise. So that's why I believe in Salala. I'm not sure, but Salala they need to disembark the armed guards before proceeding to any of the ports there. And Anglo-Eastern, one of the ship I remember way back, the ship was hijacked from the Salalah anchorage itself after the armed guards disembarked. So, the pirates have a list of all the ships that armed guards are there and all the lists
And
where the armed guards have disembarked.
a vessel getting piracy attack on anchor is like it's a big thing.
We are from Anchorage, when we are at Anchorage, you realize that, you're in safe waters, but then getting hijacked from there, you can't do anything because being at anchor, it takes time, at least half an hour, the fastest you can pick your engines is half an hour and that also, you will, containers are fast, to go to full height, it will still take time. As good as dead already.
All right. So, Captain, what all preparations do we do on board? Like especially on a tanker vessel, Captain, as the freeboard is less in tanker vessel. So, do you think that is it difficult for a tanker vessel, or there are some extra precautions you take?
Okay, good question. So the freeboard is a very important part, and the speed. Containers have good speed and good freeboard. Car carriers have excellent freeboard. The pirates, by the time they climb up, you can easily shoot them.
Yes.
But tankers' problem is the freeboard is quite less. And especially, the parcel tankers and all that, their freeboard is nothing. They can just hop on the ship if they want to. So what we do is the reservoirs are the first thing that we do. So and double reservoirs, not single ones. So that will give them difficult to come on board the ships. I'm not saying it is impossible.
Yeah.
But it will give them the armed guards some time to shoot them because that time they will it will engage in firing, shoot on sight. So that is there, and then all the catwalks we'll just put the reservoir, all the access going to our cockpit, our bridge.
Mm-hmm.
We have to restrict them, at every places depending how much reservoir and all that you have. Then you have dummies. You will put the dummies in the aft. You will put the dummies on the bridge wings, depending. Then you will increase your watches. Look out extra watches on deck during your
Extra
HRA
lookout.
transit. No chipping, painting, deck maintenance during that time. And there is something called as a vessel hardening plan. Different name, different companies, but basically you have to strengthen your vessel and prepare it for your HRA transit.
HRA transit.
And then you prepare a citadel. Citadel on containers, which is the area generally?
Captain, I've done 3 vessels. So 2 vessels, 2 container vessels, we had engine room as a citadel, and one we had the steering gear room.
Steering, okay. So basically a place where
But Captain, generally it's the engine control room.
Okay, so see, basically I can say that on the containers the engine ECR is the one. On the tankers mostly the steering plat. So and also depends how the steering pad access is there. Basically we want to give the minimum access possible. So on my ship we have the bridge, the upper deck to bridge, upper deck to CCR. There is a one steel door that we'll be putting. Then from engine room to steering plat, we'll put another steel barricade.
All right.
And there is no other access to the engine, my steering plat, except those guys have to open the bolts of the skylight, and I don't think they will bring
will do that.
24 or 32 spanner with them.
No. They'll start destroying other things, but they won't come inside.
Yeah, but I don't know, somehow practically all they want to do is just put a grenade inside and just go away. That's enough.
Yes. On our vessels, Captain, container vessels, we used to do the same, like razor wire, or sometimes we used to increase the freeboard, cover the aft area, and then water monitors, fire hoses,
Yeah.
as you said, dummies. So yeah, all those things.
Yeah, we also keep the foam monitors and the fire hoses standby on the ship side to give them a
Standby,
night shower, before they come.
Yes. We don't want any dirty thing to come on board. So we say, okay, do the shower first, then you come on board.
I don't know what is that going to help the shower with compared to the bullets, but that's a part of your practice.
Yeah. So, Captain,
Again,
why
it
don't we carry our own arms? Like, why doesn't the captain has some arms in the like in a locker or something? Like,
see,
are they afraid that
unfortunately,
captain will
we
get
want
angry
to.
and start shooting?
Yeah, we want to. Of course, that is another topic, mental fatigue and, master, if some mate or cadet is troubling. So, and we see, we don't have a training compare, with the what the guns training we don't have. As a
Oh
youngster
yeah.
and, warm blood, I think we should, but I don't think it will ever be. Then these armed guards, they also have to earn bread and butter. So definitely, that is a huge business. They are armed, armed guard security business, and we don't care about the money part because they just get us transit, safely. So that is what we want as a seafarers. We don't want to be in that, and it
Whole
is provide.
piracy scenario. So
Yes, I, as a so many 15, 16 years being on containers, bulk and oil chemicals, I can tolerate any of the oil, fire, abandoned ship, worst case, but I don't think I'll be able to manage the piracy because in that case, it's not in your control. It's
yes.
in the control
So,
of those
Captain,
drug.
have you ever experienced this?
We did get one or two boats in vicinity, so we
But
mustered
no,
on the upper deck.
not in the vicinity, but like approaching very fast, or you're feeling like okay, like you
Yeah, yeah. See,
give the
in
alarm
that
to
Gulf of
everyone.
Eden, the lots of boats, we easily it gets misunderstood. Those fishing boats as well. They have the tendency to approach. So there were some boats approaching. So that time we have to sound the imminent threat alarm, and then we muster the guys in the my upper deck, and then we look for the guns in the boats and the ladders or anything suspicious objects in the boat, and then we say, okay, the boat has cleared off. Then we wait for some time till the boat, is very well clear. Then we call up the people, back to there. But that time we have to follow the security norms. And one incident, what happened, accidentally the fire alarm went off accidentally, false alarm, and the people got panicked. The sound for the drill, I mean, sound for the security was something else, but
The
people got
general
panicked.
alarm.
It's normally, for the security, we'll be making the general alarm and, sounding yellow, code yellow or whatever we agree on.
Yeah. P
But
announcement later on. Yeah.
that time the fire alarm rang, and that time when we were transiting, it was in the, back of everybody's that it's a piracy attack. Everybody ran to the upper deck, and we had some
Secret.
upper deck, and we had protocols. You cannot lock the A deck and B deck doors and all, and people are panicked and locking all the doors, and there are people stuck.
Oh shit.
So I don't know how you can control human psychology at that particular time, and it was just a false alarm. So this piracy thing is one of the biggest issue, and I'll
I
definitely
remember,
talk
as you
about the
mentioned,
Nigeria
Captain.
ones.
Okay. Uh, Sorry to disturb you again.
No, no, it's okay.
Well, as you mentioned, no, this human panicking thing. I remember I heard the story from one of my captain. He told me that there was man overboard. They just rang the alarm, and P announcement was done. Not man overboard, sorry, abandoned ship. So master gave the PA that okay, we'll abandon the vessel, and there were some people who were not like they didn't waited for the lifeboats, no steps, nothing. Like when we do drills, we tell people, okay, don't panic, we'll do this step by step, we'll be a team, this and that. But when they actually planned to do this surprise drill, so there was a man without thinking anything, he jumped. He jumped overboard because he didn't want it to wait till the lifeboat and everything. So, and that was just a drill. That was not a real scenario to abandon the vessel. So,
True.
panicking is something which is you don't know what you are doing.
See, that's why we also have been juniors, and we do the drills and we find it very boring. So, as a master, we should not do it more often to trouble and irritate the guys. But whenever we do it, for example, if abandonship is once a week, there are people who will
Once,
be harassing twice a week, thrice a week. Don't do that. Do it once a week, but make sure your people participate, diligently.
Yes, Captain. So, Captain, you just mentioned one thing about the SSAS. So, can you just explain a little about SSAS?
Okay. Ship security alarm system. So that is a button, okay, that is placed on board the ships on two prominent locations. One is definitely the bridge, another master's cabin, or I
Master's
believe
cabin.
sometimes chief engineer's cabin, whoever is the SSO, designated SSO. But 99% it's in the master's cabin.
Master's cabin.
So basically, what you do is it's a silent alarm. When you press it, it will not create any alarm on board the ships. So it will go to your the flag state or any company designated by your company. So earlier it used to go to two places, but recently it goes to only one agency, wherein they are the ones to receive, and then immediately they'll inform your company and the flag state.
That doesn't go to that DPA or CSO.
Okay. Second question.
Sorry, Captain. It just I assumed this thing that when we press SSAS, it goes to the flag state. It goes to the it goes to shore, but it definitely goes to the DPA and this CSO.
Okay, it was the case before, but again, it depends on company to company. Earlier, we had two places. One is our company security officer, who may or may not be a DPA. All right?
Okay.
And it goes to flag state. But now what it does, it just goes to one agency. It is his job to inform definitely our CSO and the flag state.
All right.
So it is doing the job. And master should definitely know the location. The bridge watchkeeper should definitely know the location. And if you are abandoning your ship, I mean you're running to your citadel, you need to activate the SSAS, Mayday on the VHF that you are being under attack. Keep your SATC messages ready. And basically in citadel you will have a satellite phone. That's a requirement. If not, then the armed guards have a portable satellite phone with them as well. And for 3 days, you need to keep your citadel ready to survive there. You can keep all your
Food and ration.
chocolates and all that stuff, Maggie noodles and all that ready.
Yeah, we used to have those cup noodles and some water for sure, and then we had these responsibilities distributed. So whenever you have to go to Citadel, just bring some food and bring some water. Okay.
That is there. I did sail with one captain. Okay. He was one of the ships from Fleet Management, 2008, Stolt Dweller. That ship was hijacked for 8 months. So he came on board.
Sorry, Captain, can you just come again? It was hijacked for 8 months?
Yeah, for 8 months.
My God.
So I'll just share two incidents. This is a very popular vessel, Stolt Dweller. So they were hijacked for 8 months. And then it takes time, the negotiations and the pressure they need to put. Somebody will come, a third party negotiator and all that. But ultimately, the seafarers they will hit the seafarers every day to make them emotionally torture their parents. Then indirectly the parents will call up the company and tell them to pay the ransom. And they will hit you with the back of the gun, and anywhere. I mean, they don't think of your pain. They are always under the influence of drugs. So, and that time you have to lower your eyes, lower your voice. Don't look at them, because you never know under the influence what they can do. Because as a sailors, fitness is everything. If accidentally you try to be hero and they injure your arm, your leg, then your career at sea is over. So they were there for 8 months, and finally the negotiations happened, and they were given ransom. And the best part, a fun part, So they will
What?
give you a certificate, just like the modular courses and the advanced certificate,
That you
they,
survived the piracy attack.
they'll give you a certificate to the vessel that, in case you go out and, if you, some other, because see, piracy is like a business. There are many leaders, having their own gangs in Somalia. And they talk among themselves, that, okay, we have captured the ship. And suppose, you're finally, you have paid the ransom and you're proceeding
And
outside
another group.
and somebody, some other group hijacks you. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
time, you can show the certificate.
Oh my God, I never knew this thing. It's something very new for me.
So,
So it's
so
like
that's the,
they hijack your vessel and they give you a copyright that okay, if anyone else come to hijack, tell them that we have already paid. It's like a toll tax.
yeah, there will be a receipt so that, you can safely go out and nobody else can hijack you because you have paid the ransom. That was one
Okay.
fun part. And another fun part, one of the incidents I heard that one of the pirate was injured for some reason, and the second mate was kind enough to give him first aid.
Offer him some.
So, so the pirate used to treat the second mate better than everybody.
Oh my God. I thought he would. Okay.
So that's another fun part. Okay, now he shared his, the tough experiences that they can, they went through 8 months that nobody else can go through that. And it
Yeah.
creates a mental trauma, and definitely,
You never want to
you
join
need,
the vessel again.
yeah, you need really a strong will to rejoin a vessel at all. And now with this female, seafarers on board, it becomes even
I
more
was
difficult.
going to I was going to ask you the same thing, Captain. Like me being a female seafarer, and then there are many others. So and like company never thinks that they are sending you to HRA or something. They treat you equal. So like that's what we all ask for. So but then what do you think? Like, is there something special your company takes for
Uh,
HRA or like? Can you just tell some advantages or disadvantages, or what should we do as a female seafarer when when we go to the citadel? So shall we hide, or
no,
what
see,
should we do?
all right. See, in Citadel, basically the purpose of Citadel is your ship has 25, 30 crew on board and the 3 or 4 armed guards. Everybody should be in the Citadel. One person is outside, then the Citadel purpose is, it's useless. Okay. Now, as a female seafarer on board, in my company we don't have any. So whenever we carry a family on board, and we are transiting the Gulf of Aden from southbound or northbound, we ensure that they sign off before itself.
All right.
Okay. So and just to be, because we cannot let them go through the same consequences because kids and wife on board. All right. And next is female seafarers. It is very difficult, and if they are on board and if they don't go to Citadel, and if anybody is see, basically it doesn't matter, girl, I mean a
Male
female
or
or a male,
female, if anyone is
doesn't
left,
matter.
then
Anybody is left outside, it is the same story. If, I mean, the purpose is failed, and then you need to come outside and you will be proceeding to the Somalia coast, and wait there till the ransom is paid. So the best and important thing is always keep a good lookout as a third mate. Now you'll be going to join as a third mate,
yes, Captain.
and as a second mate, and whoever are the watchkeepers, make sure you keep a proper lookout. Use a proper radar watchkeeping. All right, because you cannot visually sight them, but radar can, and with the proper tuning, so that you have ample time for you to call the master and the armed guards for them to fight. But if you take it casually and lightly, then it will be too late, and then you might not have the chance to go to the Citadel. And if there is a female seafarer
Citadel.
on board, then it's quite tough because then the even males cannot handle the pain that they will impose. So it will be quite difficult for the females, and then the company definitely has to negotiate quite fast to ensure the ransom is paid, and then they will not have the margin to negotiate on the ransom part.
All right, Captain. Like recently, a Maersk vessel was hijacked by the pirates. So my female third mate, she was there, but then she was lucky enough. She signed off, and the next week only it was hijacked. So we were talking about this. That okay, if what if you were there? So she was like, I don't know then. Maybe I was with those guys. I would have been in their team then.
I mean,
So
see, you
yeah,
can't even imagine what they can do to males, so it's very difficult to say
it's
anything,
difficult
with the
for
females.
females.
So I would just say, better prevention is better than cure.
Better than
Make sure
cure.
you do your best. When there's a female, the master, whoever is there, he has to ensure that whatever HRA precautions we are carrying, if I was there, we would have multiplied, we would have ensured that it's 200% of what we are doing.
All right, Captain. So
I have some Nigeria
well,
if you want.
yeah, I had these questions. Now I would just like to hear your stories and your experiences about this. I have never been to Nigeria place or Somalia, these regions. So any tips for me or something? Your experience.
Like I mentioned, as a third mate, second mate, keep good watches. I'm saying keep good watches because basically the entire ship's crew is dependent on the watchkeepers,
Watchkeeper, yeah.
whether be it collision or anything else. But whenever in HRA or nearby these areas, keep a good watch, big watch. Use your radars to the optimum usage. Okay, and know your radars properly. So for that you have ROC ARPA,
Yes.
and then keep proper lookout, keep extra lookout, keep time in hand so that you can contingency, you can proceed to the citadel, regular drills, security part. See, for abandoned ship and for the fire and the other emergencies, it's manageable because it's always in our control, and sometimes it's beyond control. That time you just have to abandon. But this piracy part, you have to be extra vigilant. All right, so Somalia is not a big problem because you have armed guards on board. So main concern comes to the Nigeria part.
Nigeria. So you don't get armed guards on board when you go to Nigeria?
Yeah,
Or
that is
they
the big
charge
problem
special?
there. No. That is a big problem nowadays because nowadays, if you must be, checking, seeing your security circulars on board ships, Gulf of Guinea piracy has, increased twice, thrice than compared to Somalia.
Yeah.
So here it is, as I would not mind going to Somalia 100 times, but I would mind going to Nigeria even one time.
One time.
Yeah, so because it is so much happening out there, and we can do nothing about it, and companies can do nothing about it. It has to be. I don't know. I'm just a small person, but I think the IMO has to come into picture and designate a HRA over in Gulf of Guinea and make sure the armed guards are allowed over there. Armed guards companies will be happy because they will have business out there as well. But doesn't matter, we are seafarers, we want to be safe.
But our companies won't be happy because they have to pay extra.
The problem what happens is that is a major oil base and all that. The Nigeria country doesn't allow armed guards.
Okay.
So IMO or somebody has to give some exception that
Impose
armed
that
guards
thing.
are allowed, and maybe the guns, if they don't want, maybe the guns can be dropped into the ocean, or some boat can come and pick it up and just wait outside, not in the port limits. Some way has to be found so that the Nigeria armed guards are allowed somehow. I'll just tell you one. See, there are lots of piracy
Yes.
accidents and hijacking happening in Nigeria. I believe just a few days back only, Nigeria hijack has happened,
Musk,
right?
Muscadis, they were also in that route.
Yeah. So what happens is these Nigeria people, the mentality of those guys are totally different. Either they're not trained properly as compared to the Somali ones. So Somalia, what happens is they will hijack you as a group. If you are 25 people on board, they will keep you as 25 people on board. Very rarely they will take you to Somalia, and then you will not be found. But Nigeria, what is happening is those guys, I don't know from where they have done their training, so they don't treat hijack as a hijack. So they will choose few people out of the crew, and they will take them, for shore leave.
Oh my God. So
So
it's like
and
it's more risky.
it's
It's
more
like
risky.
even more dangerous
More dangerous than the
because you never
Somali
know
ones.
they'll bring you back or they won't bring you back.
Exactly, that's my point. If you get hijacked, they can take all the containers if they want, they can take all the cargo that they want. It's all insured. But don't take the people, from board or ships. And even if you want to hijack the ship, let the company pay your ransom and then release every member of our team. Not, just out of your own goodwill, you choose somebody and then you take them ashore. That is one thing. So recently, one of the ships they went to Nigeria. I'll just tell you a standard. What happens. So the armed guards are not allowed. So when the ship is calling any of the Nigerian port, so what will happen is around 300 or 400 miles off.
Mm-hmm.
See, you will comply with all your BMP5 and all the security that's there, but you will not have armed guards. So
Okay.
whenever you're approaching the Nigeria, okay, 300, 400, the agent, or the company will arrange a security patrol boat for you.
Okay.
And they are the Nigerian, what do you call, soldiers.
Okay.
Okay, they will escort you to the port.
Like as
And
pilots come, like just the way pilot
yeah,
comes,
they're
similarly
high
they come.
speed. Correct. They are the high speed boats. They will come like almost 300, 400 miles off. All right, and then they will escort you. Now that way, your luck factor also comes into picture. Sometimes, if some pirate boat they start shooting these guys. These guys ultimately have limit. The bullets are limited. So they might fight. They might run away.
Okay,
They give
they
you
might
no.
run away.
They might run away because they don't give you any guarantee. Because see, they are not on board. The armed guards of Somalia, they are on board. They'll fight for you till the last bullet. But these
Okay.
guys, they're just going in front of you. It's very easy for them to just run away
Just
from
run
there.
away.
Run away from, save their life. They also don't want to be killed.
Yeah.
So that is one problem. And once you reach inside the port, then it is comparatively safer. They have designated safe anchorages where the Navy patrols.
All
Then
right.
you'll go inside the port, and then you will have lots of security personnel from the shore. Again, contractors. The company has to pay for them, and as a master, and we don't care about that. We take them on board. So they'll keep piracy watches. Then that is not a problem. Once you finish with the cargo operation, and when you're going out, again you will have security patrol for 300 miles. For containers for 20 knots, hardly 10 12 hours. But these pirate boats are, they're waiting more than 400, 500 miles off for you.
Like
So
if we
what are you
have
going to do
plan
there?
A, they have two plans already prepared.
Yeah. So Nigeria is quite unsafe compared to Somalia. So I would rather not go in Nigeria. But again, if your vessel is calling, then it is a big cumbersome out there.
All right. Yeah, for ISPS, I had these questions. So my questions for ISPS are all over. And in general, if you want to share something or tell us your personal experiences, so please.
Okay. So ISPs we have covered mostly. I just covered some little bit about stowaway. It will be,
Yeah, please.
basic good for
Additional.
you as well. So stowaway problem is if you find a stowaway, the first thing is make sure you land the stowaway. That's why we do the stowaway search. You make sure you land him at that port itself. Because if you just leave the port limits, then the responsibility of the stowaway comes on the company.
On the company.
Then there have been some cases quite a few years back. The master and the team they killed the stowaway on board. They made them jump into the water. It has happened, manslaughter. So why? Because the repercussions of the after effects. That lot of money is involved, and who will pay for the stowaways? Ultimately, the receiving country never
And
accepts the stowaways.
also then
They,
top management is also asked like why didn't you do the search properly? So
yeah.
this is
So
happening.
receiving
Hiding
country
is
will not
always
accept the
there.
stowaways, and then once you leave the port, then the country from where the stowaway boarded, he will also not accept. So ultimately, it come to the flag state, and
Okay. So
ultimately
what
the
happens to
owners.
the stowaway?
No, then there is one Brussels convention, so it will come down to the flag state has to accept.
No, like for example, from A port, I have a person and he was trying to go to B port, But now, as you said, neither B port will take him nor A. So where will he go?
So he will stay on board, and the Blackstreet and the company will find a port where they are accepted. Until that time, all the
Okay.
expenses and everything, you have to give him food, you have to
You have
give
to.
him Wi-Fi, you have to give him Wi-Fi and all that stuff,
I
and
remember
treat him like.
I remember Captain. One of my achievement was telling me that they had a stowaway he was hiding in the cargo hold. So what happened at night? There was Bill's alarm. So we went down and found that person. So when they finally found them, he started demanding, "Okay, I want to eat omelette. Okay, I want to eat this. Bring me this. Give me password." So he was like the king of the vessel. So, have you ever personally experienced this? Someone on board or trying to come on board?
I have not experienced any stowaways on board, but I would rather keep it that way. But I did experience some other incidents, the thief related. In Indonesia and all, they will, if you don't keep your watches properly on tankers, so they will steal whatever they get. Our UTI caps and pockets, and so they will steal all that. And the worst part, the next day, somebody from the shore will come and sell you your own stuff.
I remember, Captain, like not these parts, but there was we went to this King Abdullah, and this Egyptian ports. And next day, lights from the lifeboat and life buoys and our lines, everything was missing. Like we had a life buoy with line without a line, life buoy with
Yeah.
light without a light. So these thing locks, this they start breaking up padlocks. So these thing happens.
You won't believe, one of the ships they stole the life raft,
Oh my god, life raft.
and then they had to, they were selling their own life raft back to the own ship at a
But
higher cost, $10,000,
it,
15,000.
it sounds a little impractical because how did they stole a life raft? Either
It's
throw it
basic,
the port side,
you lose sight and
seaside.
accidents happen. That's how they are. They just wait for that one opportunity, and then you never know. You keep your watches 24 hours. May say you just keep your watches for 23 hours and 50 minutes, but the 10 minutes is enough for them because those guys are expert.
Yes.
So basically, say we have covered most of the stuff regarding security.
Yes, Captain.
Some girl cadet, I think she gave you a hello, Sakshi. She wanted to
Sakshi.
talk about security for girls on board ships, that you will be able to, the safety for girls on board the ship, that you will be able to answer.
Safety on board in general, Captain, it's like it depends on it's actually safe, and especially like we already talked about this piracy area. But if we don't talk about the piracy area, and otherwise it's all good, people are nice with you. But then my personal experience is, even you have to maintain a particular distance with everyone, because if I start being friendly to even anyone, no, then like I don't know, but it gives a negative impact, or it feel like they start feel taking you for granted. So Sakshi and all the female girls, all the female seafarers here, I would just say you also maintain some distance and just do your work. Don't peep in matters. Don't do all these things. So you will be safe. And yeah, for cargo watches, please be extra careful. Carry your always have your UHF with you. Always be in contact with this ABs, your gangway watchkeeper, and try to be in try to go in the areas which are eliminated and all these things. So yeah, because Captain, I remember we used to call Tangier Med, Morocco. So there it's like, firstly the guys, the stevedots, they are huge. And secondly, when you go to the being on containers, when you go on the lashing bridge and you climb up, so they start following you for no reason, but they'll start following you. They'll start interacting. They try to interact. They'll ask for your numbers and all. So sometimes, like I remember, I was in 12 to 4 watch, and I was in Tangier. So there was a stevedore, and he was just like wherever I was going, he was back. behind me. So for those particular forwards or incidents, I would say just be with your officer, or if you are the officer, so just be in contact the whole time. Don't try to be on the port side than to be on the sea side. So yeah, all these
Yeah,
things.
I get it. I believe for this session, I think I'll just speak to Sakshi and get some crowd, and then you can share your practical experiences. Because this whatever you're
Yeah,
saying, it's all practical. I
it's
did
all
sail with
practical.
I did sail with one Omani girl cadet. She was the third engineer, and I did, I can make out, whatever you're trying to say. I believe that's a very important thing. This knowledge and all, I'll be sharing. But that practical thing of, being on the port side rather than there and, keep distance, professional relationship, and not to get too much involved, speak less, whatever is necessary. For example, if you're in cargo operations, then, just the part which is required, nothing else. Because you initiate the communication and then, it goes one after another. So you should not let all
The
that
more you
happen.
speak, you start involving yourself in trouble. Like I had a captain, he used to say, speak less and speak to the point.
True.
And like I tell, whenever anyone asks me, give me some tips or something, I just say, don't try to be smart. That's like every captain and all the chief mates are like, don't try to be smart. So yeah, all these things only. So can we keep another session for this
Yeah, that's
topic?
what I said.
Yeah, yes, Sakshi, that's what we just discussed. So
You will be saving this on the IGTV one.
yes, yes, Captain.
Do
I'll
save
be
this
posting this
because
on
then I'll be
IGTV.
posting on my YouTube as well.
All right, Captain.
And we will definitely keep another session for the female seafarers. I was trying to get a third engineer. She is also working she was working in Maersk. Soumya, I don't know if you know. She is working
I don't
in
know
the
her, but
office, in the operations.
okay, I have been very lucky regarding this females because I joined my first vessel captain, first time on board, and I had 5 female seafarers there. Like my chief officer was a South African, then my third mate was Filipina, OS was a Filipina, and then I had like one was wife of chief engineer. Then every vessel
Okay.
I go, I get a female. Last vessel I had second engineer, she was female. So I can ask them if they want, like they can also suggest on our sessions or something.
That
It
sounds
would be
good.
nice to have, yeah.
But many would have the
So
same questions.
yes, Captain.
All right, then I'm done for my side. It was
Yeah,
nice
me
talking
too,
to you
Captain.
and good session we had.
I would like to thank
Hopefully,
you, Captain, for your valuable time, and then thank you for all your videos, your sharing experiences, and obviously for sharing knowledge with all of us. So yeah, thank you very much.
all right, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
See you
so
next time.
I'll just disconnect, and
Yeah,
we'll
Simran.
surely
Okay.
have a next session.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Captain.
Bye,
Thank you for
Simran.
your time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.